Hello, we're going to continue the discussion on return on investment. I'm using examples so that you can compare the relative risk involved in different types of transactions. On the first video, there were two examples, actually three examples, that were fixed and determinable. What that means is they were not estimates. They were very, very clear as to the amount of money that would be required and the return on investment. In this particular video, I'm going to use two examples where the numbers are illustrative, meaning the actual numbers for a deal will be different than what's being presented here. It depends on the deal. So I'm going to be using a real estate buy, renovate, and resell example, or a buy, fix, and flip, and also a real estate buy and hold, which is a rental property deal. So that's what I'm going to cover today. And again, this is Steve Pullett. I'm an independent Beamer distributor. I'm a real estate investor. I'm in Largo, Florida. My email is stevepullett@gmail.com. And my direct phone number is 727-224-4743. I'm giving you another website in this video, which is stevepullett.com. So let's move on here really quickly. I'm going to cover what's involved in the buy, fix, and flip model. Your known costs are the purchase price, closing costs, holding costs. Holding costs are often missed to some extent in an analysis of a deal, but they're very important. There's costs of insurance, utilities, taxes, cost of borrowed money, and realtor commissions. The estimated costs are the renovation costs and the selling price. I say they're estimates because you don't know what the house is going to sell for until you actually sell it. The renovation costs you don't absolutely know until you're finished renovating the house. And every rehab, any buy, fix, and flip that I have done, I have always had renovation costs being different than my preliminary estimate, than my first estimate. And those differences have always, for me, been higher than what I thought. So can the rehabber make 20% of the selling price in 6 months? That's my question. That seems to be a reasonable targeted profit. And the answer is 20% of the selling price realistic? Selling price $200,000, can the rehabber's profit be $40,000? Yes, it can be, but the risk is high because of construction overruns and changing market prices on the sell side. So there are many parts to being successful with this model. Most people are well served by having a coach or mentor with experience doing flips to succeed. I highly recommend that. Now let's talk about the buy and hold real estate. In this example, let's say it's a single family home that's purchased to rent. This home requires 10% of the purchase price to update. So the purchase price in this example is $70,000, and I'm assuming that for $7,000 you can do an upgrade, probably paint, carpet, maybe some work on the bathrooms, kitchen, that sort of thing, maybe some electrical. And the rent is, in this example, I'm assuming is $1,000 per month. So what's the return on investment? So all in is $77,000. The annual rent's $12,000. So the gross annual return is 15.6%. And I see deals like this pitched all the time in real estate investment meetings where someone will say you can get a cap rate of 15.6%. It's totally incorrect. The net annual return in this example is probably closer to 9%. That's because you take the net, you calculate the net rental income, which is typically closer to 60% of the actual monthly rent collected. Risks are vacancy rate is higher than projected, repair is higher than forecast. Returns are much lower if the money is borrowed. So if it's not your own money and you're borrowing money, you're not going to get 9.3%. In fact, if you're paying 8% for the money, which would be really good in this example, your return is going to be closer to a CD rate. You're better off buying a CD because your return is going to actually probably be closer to 1.5%. So in this illustration, I prefer the buy and hold because of the residual income. Now, if you compare the examples that I presented here to the first video, candidly, I wouldn't do any of these deals. I wouldn't do the buy, fix, and flip. I would not do the buy and hold for rental. I would go back to the 12% turnkey model that I presented in the first deal, plus several of the other examples. So again, these are illustrations. Actual numbers can be better or worse than presented. A coach who has experience doing these deals is highly recommended. And again, my contact information is Steve Pollitt. And there you have it again. I went over it earlier, and you know how to reach me if you have any questions. So thank you for paying attention, and I hope you enjoy these illustrations. And the point is, you look at the different options, and you start evaluating the numbers in terms of what's required to what's the amount of money required, and the return on investment and relative risk for that money. Thank you.